Hola, Cora. Thanks for reaching out today about the 9.4.1 quiz, the objetos indirectos en contexto. So I'm just going to make you a little video lesson here to go over what you did. If you're comfortable sharing this with others, you mentioned there were others at your school who were also struggling with this quiz, and you can share this video with them, or they can reach out to me if they still have questions too. But let's take a look at what's going on. So right now I'm in your first attempt. So first of all, you had this information, and the information gave you the information you'll use, plus a modelo, a model or an example. So it says, usando la información arriba, esta información, di a quienes les vendió los artículos. So to whom the clerk sold the items, según lo que pagaron. So according or based on what they paid. So here the modelo says, tú pagaste 16,600 pesos. So you paid 17,000 or 16, excuse me, 6, not siete, 16,600 pesos. So here we find 16,600 pesos. So the item they must have bought was aretes de plata. So ella refers to the clerk. All right, to whom the clerk sold the items. So ella is the clerk. Ella vendió, she sold, and here's the te. The te tells us to you. So ella te vendió unos aretes de plata. So it said you paid this much money. She sold to you aretes de plata. So I think the most confusing part of this is, where do you get the different pieces of information? It's always going to be ella, because the clerk is always the one selling. And vendió is the correct form, the past tense form that goes with ella, the third person singular past tense form of vender. So vendió is going to stay consistent. So this is going to change, and the te, referring to you, is based on, now this tu should have an accent, sorry, that's missing, but the tu, pagaste, says that the subject is you did the paying. So she's selling it to you, and that's what determined you using the te there. All right, so then it says down here, make sure to follow the model closely. That includes using indefinite articles in your sentences. So here we chose an indefinite article, unos, that agrees with the items we bought. So aretes are los aretes. So los aretes, unos aretes de plata. So masculine plural noun gets a masculine plural indefinite article. And then the aretes de plata, we figured that out because of the number that was given, and that it matched the precio here above. So hopefully that helps you figure out where you're getting your information from. I think that's the number one hurdle here. But I did see one other thing when I looked over your work down below. So let's go back up so we can see well, I don't think we'll be able to see the information all the way at the same time unless I zoom out. But let's just take a look here. So it says down here, Leo pagó 2,300 pesos. 2,000, 300, 300. 2,300. So then we're going to go up here. And what did he pay for? 2,300 means libro de surfing. Let me highlight that for you here. Libro de surfing. All right, so we know el libro is a masculine noun, so we're going to use un libro de surfing. So let's go back down here, and we know ella is doing the selling. So first of all, here used el and lay. And so I think sometimes in this, you were maybe getting confused with the reflexive that we've done. And that can happen to students very often, that they were so busy matching that reflexive pronoun to the subject that then they want to do that with indirect objects, but it's not the same. This is a different type of pronoun here. So even though some of them are the same, it's got a different job in the sentence. It's the action is being done to a different person now. That's the indirect object. So instead of doing it to themselves, your subject is actually going to be ella, because as we learned up above in the modelo, ella is the clerk. And maybe I can add that information into the instructions to make sure that people know that the clerk is a woman. But from my modelo, you learned that ella, the clerk, is a she. Ella vendió is correct. So you're going to continue using that form. And the le is also correct because that refers back to Leo. So ella le vendió un libro de surfing. So you were almost entirely correct, but I want to make sure you know where that subject is coming from in these. All right, let's look at one more. So down here, now this is where this made me think that you weren't clear on where to find that subject. So the subject again is going to be ella. You use nosotros, and you got that from mi familia y yo, which is a nosotros subject here above, but you're changing your subject in the second one. So in the second one, you're saying she sold it. You're not saying we sold it. We paid for it. Mi familia y yo pagamos 40,800 pesos. But mi familia y yo didn't sell it. No nos vendemos. So here it'd be ella nos vendió. So vendió here, you did not match it to your subject, but you did use the correct form that is supposed to be there. You just need to make sure that you're using the correct subject. All right, so it'd be ella nos vendió. Here you have unos equipo de acampar. So let me double check above that you have the right thing. So 40,000 is 4,800, 800. So 4,800. Oh, 40, of course. Yeah. So not 4,000. 40 is 40. So here we have equipo de acampar. That's great. But we didn't say equipos de acampar. So because that's singular, you need to use the singular masculine indirect or indefinite article, indefinite article is un. So un equipo de acampar. So here we figured out, well, let's go back to number 2. Here we figured out subject is ella, nos vendió un equipo de acampar. Or in this case, it's kind of strange to say an equipment for camping, so you could just leave that out entirely, and that's what it shows the example here. I think I allow for un equipo de acampar because that's the formula we're using, but it does sound better in Spanish and actually in the English translation as well. It seems to make more sense if you say ella nos vendió equipo de acampar. So she sold us equipment for camping instead of an equipment for camping. So either way is fine here. But as you continue to go through this, that's the formula that you're using, that you're pulling from that modelo up there. So hopefully now that I've talked you through the first 2, it's a little bit more clear for you. Let me know if you still have questions, and I can spend some more time working on this with you. Hasta luego.